Good morning, my YouTube viewers. It's Crystal here. I've got another video for you. If you looked at my last video, I went over the Python code for the coursework and, of course, probability and combinations, and it was Module 1. In this particular video, I've taken the coursework and I've converted it to Excel, so anybody who has Excel can do that coursework. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go over the coursework in Excel. The only thing is whenever I was going through the work in Python, Python has the capability to take words and perform permutations on words, but I'm not aware of Excel having the capability of doing that unless you write a program in Visual Basic. And I took Basic a long time ago, like maybe, well, definitely a little less than 40 years ago, I took Basic. And they've been using Visual Basic in Microsoft Office products for 40 years. But unfortunately, I never learned Visual Basic, and I didn't really want to learn Visual Basic for this course or for this video. But maybe at some point in time, maybe I will learn Visual Basic and I'll start doing things in Visual Basic. That would be a good thing to do, I think. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go over the coursework, and the first thing we're going to talk about is a factorial. And a factorial is where you multiply all of the digits in a number together. So let's say you have the number 8. So you will multiply 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So that's how you do a factorial. So we've got the question. There are 5 children in the high school math team. How many ways can these 5 children be arranged for the team's yearbook photo? So you've got the number of children is 5. So it's going to be 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And that's going to be 120. So how you express that in Excel is you say equals fact brackets 5. And so you can see that we've done that in this page of the spreadsheet right here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do combinatorics. So we're going to combinatorics is when you have a number, but you only want to arrange two numbers within that number. So we've got a question here of choose 2 players from the total of 5 players. So you have a total of 5 players, and you have the number of players that you want to choose is 2. And then so you have the total of combinations that you can select from those 5 players. And it's equals combin, and it's going to be 5, 2. And you're going to get an answer of 10. So that's an example of how you can do combinatorics. We also have something called the principle of counting. And so basically on the principle of counting, you've got a fundamental principle of counting where you multiply one number by another. And then in addition to that, you have another fundamental principle of counting where you take the power of one number. So you take one number and then you raise it to a power of another number. And so we're going to explain how we do that. So fundamental principle of accounting equals M times N. You've got 4 blouses and 3 skirts. So how many total combinations or outfits can you make with 4 blouses and 3 skirts? So that's going to be 4 times 3 equals 12. So that's how many outfits you can make. And I'll just clarify that. So the next question we have is, you can tell, because I just have a little laptop, and so my thinking is clear, but my typing isn't. You forgot your code to a 3-digit lock. How many code combinations can you make with the lock? And the formula is m to the power of n. So you have the number of places is 3, and the number of digits is 10, 0 to 9. So the total combinations is B13, that's 10, to the power of 3, which is the number of places. And so that's 1,000. So basically what you have is you have 1,000 different combinations you can make on your 3-digit lock. So if you happen to forget your combination, it's going to be a little bit difficult to find the correct combination, because you've got to go through 1,000 combinations. Now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about permutations, and we're going to give you an example of a permutations. So you've got a permutation of 6p2. So the total number n is 6, and the num slots is 2. And so your permutation is equals permute, and then it's going to be 6, 2. And that's going to give you a permutation of 30. And so basically, I think the formula is equals n and that's your formula. So n factorial divided by n minus r factorial. So you've got 6 factorial divided by 6 minus r is 2. So 6 factorial divided by r. So that's going to be 6 times 5 is 30, times 4 is 120, times 3 is 360, times 2 is 720. So you've got 720 as the numerator. I believe that's what you call it. And then you have 6 times 2 minus 6. No, 6 minus 2 is 4. So we have 4 times 3 is 12. And then 12 times 2 is 24. And then so 720 divided by 24. So let's just say equals 720 divided by 24, 30. So I did it for you manually, but I did it for you manually so you can just see how it's done. But Excel has a formula, so you don't have to calculate it manually if you don't want to. It just does that for you automatically. So now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply permutations. So you've got 6p2 times 3p3. So n1 is 6, r1 is 2, n2 is 3, r2 is 3. And then so the multiplying permutations is permute b12, b13 times permute b14 times b15, and that's going to give you an answer of 180. So now the next one we have is we're going to add permutations. So N1 is 7, R1 is 2, N2 is 4, R2 is 1. So we're going to add permutations. So you have permute B22, B23 plus permute B24, B25, and your answer is 46. So if you watched my last video where I took the coursework and I converted it to Python, then you will see that I took words and I performed permutations on words, but I'm not doing it with Excel, and the reason why is because I would have to write a program in Visual Basic to do that. But who knows, maybe sometime in the future I'll start programming in Visual Basic and we'll be writing programs in Excel using Visual Basic. So that would just be another feather for me to add to my cap if I do that. So that concludes this video. We were talking about probability and combinatorics, and we talked about factorials, combinatorics, principles of counting, and permutations. So the next videos I'm going to be making are going to be on Module 2 of this course. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you like my video, please like, subscribe, and I will be communicating with you soon.